Groundbreaking research, wisdom's flow. In every step, a legacy to show. Through storms and winds, their spirit soars. Improving lives, unlocking doors. Improving lives, unlocking doors. They have a kind of luminary soul, a lifetime achievement, not really their goal. It's guiding our journey through countless days for a better tomorrow in every way. A commitment unwavering through sun and rain, inspiring others, breaking every chain. A legacy woven in wisdom's thread, guiding the future as they tread. They have a kind of luminary soul.
Welcome, ladies. If you're just coming in, we'd like you to come up closer because we have a little treat for you in your seat. So feel free to come forward, and then you'll be able to participate with us.
I should put my phone on silent, right? Oh, all the time? No wonder. She does not answer text right away.
A lot of people don't. And I don't
But I
today
do it on
because
my
I work in
watch
the skiff all day, so I don't even have my phone or anything.
Oh.
to do the rest of the day.
I'm really
this
good with
is
texting.
this is
Like, somebody text me, I'm texting them back.
Oh, sure.
Sure. Where you want me to be?
Okay. Okay. I don't want this thing blocking me. How about that?
You good?
Thank you.
I love it how you're laughing out loud. You're making me smile. It's really hard to hold a smile.
I know. It's like half the time my eyes are blinking or half closed or whatever. So
I know. I'm a natural smiler, but when it's
Come on in.
closed,
Good
that's
morning.
an issue.
How are you? Come on up front so you guys can join in on the interactive session. We have some items up here in the front row areas for you to take part in. That way that you can answer the questions and take part in the interaction. If you're not, come on closer up front. Come on closer up front where we have the materials here for you.
you might want to go down there and exit now because they're not up front. They don't have any material.
Oh, yeah,
That back row doesn't have.
yeah. Yeah, I can pick them up in front. Yeah.
Welcome. Come. There's some goodies up here in the front for you. Thank you.
Good morning. How are you? You guys come on up front, and we have some goodies up here for you so that you can be a part of the interactive session and whatnot. So come on up front where you see materials on the chairs up here. Some of them just have place cards, but just come where you see the materials on the chairs, and you can be a part of the interactive session.
Where's mine? I'm teasing. No, I'm talking about that food. I know. Welcome. Come on up front. those that are just entering in, we have some goodies for you in the front. Or maybe grab something that's on the front if you want to sit back. And there's some material we want you to have. You can grab this here, sweetie. See the grab the material. Yeah, but you don't have to if you want to grab the material and then sit. Yeah. Why people don't like the front? I always go right to the front of the class. We're going to be starting shortly, so make sure you have the materials so you can be interactive and engaging as we do our workshop and seminar, okay?
And we're just waiting for the cues from the gentlemen that are running the videos and whatnot to let us know when they're ready for us to start.
And good morning, everyone.
Is everybody having a good time and enjoying the sessions and enjoying the conference overall? Are you getting a lot of good stuff from it? A lot of good feedback, support, guidance, and whatnot? Just out of curiosity, how many is this the first time? Wow, okay, wow. Good morning, how are you? Come on up and join us in the front so you guys can be a part of the interactive session. We have some materials up front here that we want you guys to take a look at. It has some questions and whatnot so that you are a part of the session. Please join us up here where you have the materials. Come on up front, up here. You can come on.
And if you don't
It's
want to
okay.
be up front, take
If
the
you don't
material.
want to be up front, then you can just take the material and you can go back to another seat if you so choose.
Yes.
While they're making their way to get their seats and whatnot, thank you all for coming and good morning again. Just to remind you, you're actually in the session. Less stress equals more peace. And I hope you guys are ready to have some fun because we got some good panelists today and they're gonna get you guys going for sure. So to kick us off and get us started, I'm Karita Barnes. I'm with Leidos. I've been there for about 16 years now. I'm actually a principal engineer as well as a project manager. A lot of my work is in the intelligence community and within the DoD sector, so a lot of what I do is in what we call the squirrely space. I do a lot of work with the three-letter agencies that we're not gonna talk about today. But it's a fun job, I like it, and most importantly, it gives me an opportunity to come and talk to you guys and interact with you guys to share your stories and share my stories to help you guys grow and move forward in your careers. Joining me today are two great people that also have wonderful stories and careers with them. Over here we have Dr. Mary Seegers, founder of Seegers Consulting Group, and she's gonna share her journey, her story, and interact with you guys to give you a whole bunch of good tips and tricks on this. We also have today with us is Nagam Alsamari. She is actually the founder of Income Leadership Development, and she as well is gonna help us to participate in a fun interactive session. She's gonna be around, we want you guys to be engaged, and she's gonna share her journey and her story to help you guys move forward in your careers. So at this particular point, I'm gonna turn it over to Nagam, and we're gonna get this party started.
Thank you, Karita, for that introduction. And I wanted to, before we get started, actually would like to have Mary talk a little bit about herself and tell us who she is and how she got here.
Thank you so much. I'm Dr. Mary Seegers, just call me Mary for short. I'm the founder and CEO of Seegers Consulting Group, which is helping women to increase their leadership competencies. I'm a leadership coach and transformational coach, and I enjoy seeing people coming to their full potential. And so the session today is going to help you become the best person you could be, the best leader you can be in whatever field you're in. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm so glad that you decided to join us today and get ready for some great learnings and great engagement and networking. So welcome.
Thank you so much. My name is Nagam, as Karita very well said. She was practicing on the way here, and she's not the only person who has to practice my name. That's okay, a lot of us go through that. And it sometimes can trigger an anxiety, just not having your name pronounced right. But that's okay. That's one of the things that we learn to move with. So my name is Nagam, and it means melody in Arabic. I do prefer the Arabic name. And I was born in Iraq. I came here in 1994 as a refugee to the United States. And it was December of 1994. The first few nights for us, we were housed in a church, the second floor of the church. Very kind man, Father Alex. I remember him. He was amazing. He was such a kind-hearted person who brought us in, and he was telling us and showing us around, even though we had no idea what he was talking about, didn't speak the language. But, we were laughing, smiling, and we're going like this, like we understood. And a few nights later, we heard what sounded like bombs coming down from the sky. Now imagine coming from rebellious Iraq, going to a refugee camp in the desert for 4 years in Saudi Arabia, then coming here to the United States. What did we do? What would you have done? You heard what sounded like bombs coming down. Well, the first thing we did was we all tried to find shelter behind couches and, sturdy walls or whatever. And my father was yelling at everybody, go hide somewhere. He's the protective dad, and he has to make sure we're okay. And we did. But then we laughed at ourselves later on when we found out it was New Year's Eve fireworks. And, but it sounded exactly like bombings. And we knew what that sounded like. Yeah. To my family and myself, we went through so much after that, going through learning the language, trying to learn the culture, looking what I look like right now. I had a lot of people asking me questions, and I asked them questions back because I wanted to learn as well. So it's a journey. It's been a journey. And it's been a lot of little things along the way that made me question things. And I had to learn to support myself, to build my confidence in order to move forward, to do whatever I wanted to do in life, because I don't want anything holding me back. I had dreams, and I wanted to make them happen. That kind of created a state of fear for us at the beginning, but I learned to actually embrace it. I learned that there is something to learn from all this experience and to move on from it. And we're going to share some of these experiences, and we're going to share some activities with you so we can all learn together, because that's the point. So I don't know about you. I don't know how many of you, have been afraid of fireworks before. How many of you have been afraid of fireworks before? Nobody? Good. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to enjoy them. So what I'd like for you to do, you have an index card on a chair by you, or a chair you're sitting, and this is what I want you to do. I want you to take the index card and the pen that you have and label one side with number 1 and the other side with number 2, just in the corner, just so we know which side to reference. And then I want you to go to side number 1. I want you to think of one thing, one experience in your life that makes you feel really anxious. You don't like this experience. When you think about it, it makes you, makes your heart want to jump out of your heart and body and just run away. For me, it wasn't even the one I told you. I was a third grade teacher, and we spent months working with my students, teaching them a performance on stage. And I had the principal come up. She saw the whole performance and absolutely loved it. She told us she had goosebumps, and she was so excited for us to go perform on the stage. And the day of, I bring my students down, up on the stage. When we're on the stage, I look at the audience, and oh my God, I freeze. It was full house. Parents, we had media in there trying to see the performances, and I just froze. That's that feeling of the heart trying to jump out and run away. That's what I had. And I turned to my students, trembling, shaking visibly, and I just went through quickly the choreography and the words and da 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 da. And I had them stand in their places and just went and hid behind the curtains. The music played, they did the show, it wasn't good. And I blamed myself for it ever since. That's the experience. So I'm gonna write on the index card on side 1, 3rd grade performance on stage. What is yours? Write it down on your side number 1. You don't have to share it, just write it down.
And you might have more than one. So
Yes, let's
think
focus
about-
on one.
Yeah, you focus on one, but think about, like she said, because everybody's experience is going to be different.
That's right.
But this is real. This is real, because actually it was me last year when I had to do my first moderator position. So I get exactly what she's saying.
All right, so we're gonna set that aside for now. I just wanted you to think about it and have it in the back of your head. Not that you already don't, probably do, but we're gonna come back to it later. So we're gonna talk about, before we actually get into this, some of you already got the directions as you were coming in. The booklet you have has pages 1 and 2, reflection questions. These you could do, actually write them down or just think about them, have the answers in your head. We're gonna go through these. And there's some things on the booklet that I'm gonna refer to, pages, when I say page 4, they're already labeled, so you should know there's space for you to write down some questions. There's space for you to write down some notes as well. So you have all of that for you to use. All right, let's talk about.
Did anybody not get a booklet by chance, or just 1 second?
Good catch, Karita. What causes anxiety? Why do we have this feeling? Well, external pressures, expectations. We go to work and you've got this job description you have to do, you have to go through, you've got these deadlines you have to meet, you go to family dinners and you have to talk about certain things, you have to show that you are an expert in certain things. All these expectations and external pressures from the outside, they cause people to have some of that anxiety, that fear that you're not good enough for something. Negative self-talk is another one. How many of you, and let's be honest, how many of you actually talk to yourself and you're like, I'm not good enough. I don't think this is good. I could do better. We all do it, right? We'll do it constantly. And we're going to talk about some ways on how to eliminate some of those negative self-talks. Fear of the unknown. If you came into this session today and you don't know what to expect, you had a title, right? And you're like, I think I like this title. I'm going to go in there. But you had no idea what we're going to do. And then somebody asked you to come and sit up front. There you go. That's the first trigger of anxiety, right? Fear of the unknown. This is why we go through and we tell you directions and we say, do you have any questions? It's okay. We ask. We talk together. Perfectionism. How many of you are perfectionists? Be honest. Yeah, let's see it. Yep. And that's something, too, you can practice to get rid of with time. Comparison with others. I love this quote that I learned years ago from a mentor of mine. He told me, compete with yourself, collaborate with others.
Yes.
If you're competing, don't compete with other people. Compete with the person that you were yesterday or the year before. And if you're collaborating, collaborate with other people because you've got other strengths in other people that you have not discovered yet that you can make use of. So comparison with others triggers anxiety. All right, before we get into that.
Let me just add one other thing, Malcolm, if you don't mind. Yes, stepping out of your comfort zone. You said we want to grow, we want to stretch ourselves. That will cause anxiety. That will cause stress. But some stress like that that's challenging you to step out of your comfort zone to get into the adventure, that's kind of good stress if you know how to control it. So don't let anxiety or stress keep you from stretching, from growing, expanding your territory, expanding your mind experience. So, that's another way of that can cause
And to
stress.
add what Mary is saying, use your community because that's a good resource. When you have these feelings and whatnot, use your community, whether it's a family member, a friend, a mentor, a colleague, anybody, because you're going to always need those people in your corner.
Yes.
So those are good resources to use, especially in the midst of stress and anxiety, because that way you can talk through it. You can work through it.
Yes.
And those are the best mechanisms at all because those folks, that community, they're going to help you. So that's a very valuable resource to always have in your back pocket.
Absolutely. Beautifully said. Thank you, ladies. How many of you have heard of Dr. David Rock? He is the author of How Your Brain Works. No, sorry, Your Brain at Work, and his other book was Quiet Leadership. I absolutely love those books because he talks about, he actually coined the term neuro-leadership. He's a neuroscientist. He does research. And he talks about how neuroscience, you can actually rewire your brain to become a better leader. So if you haven't read his books, he's amazing. And one of the things he found in his research is that when you feed your brain positive thoughts, guess what comes out? Positive thinking. And the same is exactly true for negative thoughts. So be aware of that. Yes. So let's do this. I want you to imagine that you just walked into, and don't close your eyes or anything. Just imagine you just walked into a dark room, total darkness. Now, we're all going to panic. That's the first instinct we're going to have, right? We're all going to be like, I can't see, right? But I want you to think that you're not going to panic. You walked into this dark room. It's completely dark. It's going to take your eyes about 10 minutes to start adjusting. First, you're not going to see anything. It's just your retina's going to dilate, your pupil's going to dilate, not your retina, to try to get in more light into your eyes, right? So you can start to see. In about 20 to 30 minutes, that's when you're going to pick up some lights, you're going to see some objects. And you know what also happens in those 20 to 30 minutes? Your other senses kick in. Your brain notices, ooh, your sense of seeing isn't working well, so let's work on all these other things. So you're going to have an enhanced sense of smell, touch, taste. I mean, you can't really do much with taste at that point, but hearing, absolutely, because what's going to happen is then you're going to start to feel your environment using your other senses, even if your eyes can't see. And the reason for this is your body is able to adapt. Did you know that? You did, but you didn't think about it. But I want you to bring it to the forefront and think about this because it's important. Your body was built to adapt to different things in the environment. This is why we have anxiety. This is the reason for anxiety, is because we adapt. Most of the time, we rush into things and the adaptation becomes negative and turns into anxiety. But if we allow ourselves time, we actually adapt in a positive way. And we learn to move with our environment. So let's practice that index card that I gave, that you have. You wrote one thing on one side. Turn to the other side. Now I want you to think about the great things that you already have, the strengths that you have. So let me give you an example. After the big failure on stage in 3rd grade, I went back, I apologized to my students, and I told them I'm going to do better. I'm going to work on myself. And I started working on myself. I started, practicing. I went on stage often. I pushed myself further. Later in time, I joined Toastmasters because I wanted to build on my speaking skills and confidence and leadership. I practiced as much as I could. I have a great smile, I was told, which makes people feel really comfortable.
And you do.
Oh, thank you. Isn't that a strength? How many of you think your smile is a strength? 100%. Yes, it's a strength.
Feel the confidence.
Yes.
Feel the confidence.
Absolutely. I was told I'm kind. That's a strength. I'm going to write that down.
You are.
She's being so kind today to me. Thank you. compliment others when I see something good. I do this all the time because I like to make others feel good. So these are all strengths that I have. So this is what I have on my card. What you have is a little sand timer. It has 1 minute on it. Whoever has it, you can work with your group. I'm actually going to set mine here. I'm going to turn it, and this is what we're going to do. In 1 minute, I want you to think of all these strengths that you have, and I want you to write them down on side 2. Ready? Go.
Think of some things when you were a child. They said you had a great leadership skills or whatever.
Yeah, you don't have to you don't have to make it just now. Like she said, go back. Go back through your childhood. Anything. And this is a safe space, so if you want to share, you can do that. Just step up to the mic.
All right. It's okay if you don't have a lot written down or just one thing written down. That's okay. You got started. That's what makes the difference. Before we move on, I wanted to ask the ladies here, since we're talking about adaptability, what other examples can you think of in terms of how we can adapt to our environment?
Perhaps you think, I've never done something before. You don't know until you try it. Anything that's worth achieving is always going to be an uphill climb. So learn how, give yourself grace. Say, I've never done it before. Don't make it an excuse, but allow yourself grace for that learning curve. But endeavor to try to do it. You never know until you try it. I'll give you an example. I remember when we were trying to run out, I had a test, not a test, relay, and I never done the running. I liked all the girly stuff. I don't like all the, I wasn't prepared for that, but I had to prepare my mind, my body, got the right shoes, practice before it actually happened. I didn't come in number 1, but I did endeavor to do it. I wasn't last neither, but why? I had to change my mindset. So you know what? I haven't done it before. I'm willing to do it. You got to have a willing and a desire to do things. And once you have that willingness and the desire, the how-to will come. So don't cut yourself short when you're trying to adapt things. It's a new experience, and you'll learn from it. And years later, you'll laugh like, wow, that was a piece of cake. But now I'm ready for bigger and more challenging things. So allow yourself to explore. Allow yourself to expand, and you'll be amazed at the things that you can do. But it starts with your mindset.
Love it.
And enjoy what you're doing too. Don't worry about failing. Don't worry about being uncomfortable. It's okay. And I think a lot of times we get that fear inside of us and say, oh, like Mary said, I can't do it. I'm afraid to do it. I've been there myself. As a matter of fact, I just had an experience recently, and I was a little intimidated to do a few things, but I had a good coach and a good someone that's actually sitting in this room, part of my community, that said, no, you go do it. You're going to be fine, and you're going to rock this. So again, use your community, but don't let that fear stop you. You have to step outside of the box, and we're all here to help each other and encourage each other. That's what this is about. It's not about I can't, I shouldn't, or maybe I don't look like the other person or people that are doing it. Don't worry about that, because you don't want to sell yourself short. If I had listened to all of that noise, is what I call it, I would not be where I am today. But I didn't get here by myself, and I took those challenges, took those leaps, and I still continue to do it today. But due to the fact I have a awesome community, and I'm not going to call her out, but she knows who I'm talking about because she's sitting in this room. It's actually 2 of them.
Awesome.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. And I love that you both touched on comfort zone. You have a question?
Yes.
Really quickly before we go any further, I apologize. I was late. What did you say right on side one of the card?
Oh, on side one,
Mm-hmm.
your one thing that causes you anxiety, one thing that causes you this.
Thank you.
I know.
The thought was, what? Just one? Okay.
Yes. Yes. And I intentionally wanted you to write just one. We have enough in our life to be reminded of all of them. Come on. We have enough people in our life that remind us of those anxiety enough times during the day, right? Mm-hmm. So what you're going to do is, so you had written on side number 2 all of the great things you're good at, right? All your strengths. That one thing you wrote on side 1, that one thing that causes you anxiety, I want you to rewrite it on side number 2. Try to find the smallest space in side 2 amongst all the great things that you're strong in and plug it in there. But make it as small as possible. Small enough, but you can still read it because we still want to focus on it to improve it, but we want to drown it out with all the great stuff, and it should look something like this. These are all mine, and these are true. Drown it out.
Because your greatness is going to drown it out.
Yes, absolutely.
Your greatness is going to drown it out.
This is the when I was talking about earlier, Dr. David Rock's research is to focus on the strengths instead of the things that you're not good at, is because what's going to happen to your brain is that you're going to trigger a system that you're only going to focus on the great things you're already good at, and you're going to improve them. And what usually happens to the stuff that you're weak at?
It's going to eliminate.
It's going to dissipate. It's going to get better. It's going to get in line, basically. So that's why we have to focus on the strengths. All righty. So let's get into, okay, we know the causes of anxiety. What do? We know we need to focus on strengths. What's next? Challenge negative self-talk. We do this a lot. We talk to ourselves a lot. Most of the time, it's negative. We tell ourselves, I am not ready for this presentation. What if something goes wrong? What if I forget something? I packed up so many things today.
You mean like I said to you earlier?
Yeah. Things I didn't even need, but what if they didn't have that? What if? There's so many what ifs surrounding us, right? So challenge the negative self-talk. This is how you do it. First of all, tell yourself, when you have this negative self-talk, I'm really not a good public speaker. Ask this question and ask it out loud. Ask, is it based on fact? Mm-hmm. Or is it based on a fear that you have inside? Mm-hmm. Is it based on an assumption that you heard someone say? And we're going to do it together, okay? I would love for somebody who is going to step out of their comfort zone and share one anxiety. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to all ask them that question together. Is it based on fact or is it based on fear? Who'd like to share their anxiety? All right, woohoo!
That's what I'm talking about.
Step on up to the microphone.
Awesome.
I have a fear/anxiety of public speaking.
Really?
Yes.
All
right, everybody, ready? We're gonna do it on 3. We're gonna ask: is it based on fact or is it based on fear? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Is it based on fact or is it based on fear?
Ooh, it's based on fear.
Yeah. All right. Someone else. Come on up. Oh. All right.
Okay. Someone else. Come on. Somebody.
We're gonna have to answer her. Hang on.
Come on. You guys can get in line back there, so you don't have to wait. Just get your.
Let's do 5 all together, okay?
Yeah, there you
go. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. One more person. One more person. Come on up. All right.
There you go. All right.
Okay. First of all, let's everybody give these 5 people a hand. Awesome.
And actually, thank you for kicking it off. Because I appreciate you kicking it off. And you're not fearful of this, because I've been in a few sessions throughout this entire where you have rocked it. So you've conquered it.
Awesome.
It really has. She has really stepped up
Yes.
throughout this because she has multiple times over the last 24 hours, I have seen her step up and do that.
What is your name? Nyla, you're already on the right track.
Yes, you are on the right track.
Awesome.
Yes, she did.
Awesome.
Yes, she did.
Awesome.
So bring it on. Let's hear it from you.
I have a fear of public speaking.
Everybody, is it
it fear
on facts or is it based on fear? Let's do this better. Okay, together. 1, 2, 3. Is it based on fact or is it based on fear? And when we're asking you this question, I really want you to think about it. Don't say it with us. Just think.
Yeah.
And what is it based on?
It's based on fear.
There you go. Yeah, thank you.
Very much so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Latasha Dandy, L3 Harris Technologies. My anxiety is failure.
Oh,
Okay.
did you hear that? Have you ever done the DISC assessment by chance?
I was
I
about to
did.
ask that.
I am, let's see, heavy on the I.
You're
a little bit
I
on
or
the
D
I.
in there.
No D, believe
No
it or
D.
not.
Oh.
No, everybody thinks that about
Well,
me. but
I has a fear of failure.
They do.
That's the biggest
I'm
fear.
heavy on the I.
Yes.
Yep.
So everybody on 3. Is it based on fact
fact
or is it
or
based on fear?
It's based on fear. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, but wait a minute. Now somebody has a question for you. So yeah. So what's your question? Oh, DISC.
Oh,
DISC.
It's the DISC
Okay.
personality indicator assessment. Yes.
After the session, just come up and we'll
And
give you some more information.
I would
on it.
recommend you to read the book Falling Forward
Mm-hmm.
because it talks about failing, but when you fail, it's not really, you're learning.
Correct.
And my mentor always said either you're gonna grow or you gotta it's gonna be yes or it's gonna be learning, okay? So we don't fail, we just learn.
We learn.
All right.
Love it.
Hello, my name is Leah Jeter, and I am with the LINK program at Cleveland State University. What makes me anxious is a little more deep, so I'll read out. I said, I feel anxious when going to doctor appointments. How do I get them to pay attention to my concerns? Are they going to ignore me? Are they going to gaslight me? It kind of makes me go like, oh my God, I don't know if I want to go and, go to this appointment. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. That's a deep one. We gotta talk.
That's that is pretty deep, and I understand where you're coming from because I think that's why a lot of women don't go to the doctor on a regular basis because of the fear, and that goes for men as well.
Yeah.
But I think that there is some fear in that, and having worked in a healthcare setting before as part of my multiple diverse background, but I get it. And we do have to kind of step out of the comfort zone to do that because one of the things that I found is that we don't always click with our doctors. So that's a part of it, and it doesn't help the situation that you don't click with your doctor, so you don't have that level of comfort to actually step out there and ask those questions or, set a tone to get guidance or support on what you need. That's a work in progress. Not you, but the circumstances itself. It's a work in progress. So it falls on both sides. It falls on us as the patient per se, and it also falls on the medical industry because it's training. And I don't know that all of them are trained to handle those types of situations. So it's a work in progress.
Well, before we all answer, tell you that, I wanted to also tell you I have the same fear. And one thing that helped me is think of it as, well, I'm paying to get the service.
Yep.
I need that time. And 2, I wrote out questions and things that I had before I went to the doctor's office. And I made sure that I went through all of them before leaving.
Yes.
That way, it helped calm some of that anxiety. So everybody, let's ask her the question. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Is it based on
fact or
is it
based on fear?
Both.
And you have to be your own health advocate too.
You do.
Really.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Courtney Smith. I'm a business analyst at Apple. I think I can answer my own question, but I wanted to share it.
Absolutely.
So my anxiety is rejection, and this showed up in work. We have team offsites annually every year, and so in a couple of the offsites, I would give feedback or suggestions, and they were shot down by a particular person on my team. So then the next 2 years, I didn't say anything. Like I just sat back and listened and waited for the rest of the team to provide insight. And someone else on the team came back and was like, hey, like you're not really saying anything. Like we really value your opinion, your thought process, and all of that. So I know that it was a fear of rejection. That was playing into me not participating. So I would just challenge everyone to, even though you have that fear, to still do it. So,
Absolutely.
yep.
Absolutely.
And let's give her a hand for giving us the answer already. Thank you. And the thing is, when you start talking about these fears and anxieties out loud, and you gotta do that.
You do.
They sound so ridiculous when you actually hear yourself saying them. Trust me. And then ask the question, is it based on fact, or is it based on fear, or somebody else's assumption? The other thing is that you have to embrace is the power of yet. Yeah, I'm not a very good public speaker yet. I'm going to work on it, though, right? That's what you have to tell yourself. All righty. Confidence, building confidence. How do you do that? You know what? This is the funniest thing. I used to think that people are born confident and other people are just not. And that is so not true. You build confidence over time. It's a skill. You'll learn, you practice just like everything else. So confidence is something you can actually build. Self-awareness is one of the things that help you build the confidence. Being able to know who you are, what you can bring to the table. Our last person who asked that question, remind me your name. What's your name? Courtney, thank you. Courtney brought up a beautiful example. She already knows. She has a self-awareness. She knows what her shortcomings are and why they're happening, and you know what they're based on. That's amazing. Now what, Courtney? What are you going to do about it?
So I just went back to being who I was, but then also respecting like everyone else's opinion, but not allowing myself to be shut down. Like if I did provide insight or suggestion and it was rejected, I asked for more clarity.
Yes.
Exactly. Ask the questions.
Yes, absolutely.
Ask the question.
And we've all been there. I mean, I've been there myself. I've got so much rejection. I've got a lot of other people's loud voices drowning mine, even though I have great ideas and I wanted to bring them to the table. I just kept pushing for them. And, okay, I used to be a school principal some time years ago, and one of the things that I struggled with is I had to run some things by the district before I can do them. You know, I need to get approval. And I did that my early years. First couple years, I think. Did that. And there's a lot of times when I get shut down. And I used to think the ideas are not good. But then I learned it's not that the ideas weren't good, it's that they didn't understand them. Trust me on this. I found out the ideas were so great that they were beyond their understanding. Some of those people, they were shutting them down. And then you know what I started to do? And I know this is recorded and they're going to see it. But I started to implement these ideas and then sharing the results after. And oh my God, the difference it made in the school. And this is, when I started doing this, I worked with a team. Like Karita was saying, that community support you need. I worked with a team. We worked together on this. We showed the results together, and it made a big difference. Do you think district is going to say no, shut it down after they see the good results? Exactly. No, they're going to take credit for it, right? So you do what you got to do. Be aware, have a self-awareness of what your strengths are. Go ahead, Mary.
I'm sorry. When she said that example, it made me think of this quote. It's better to ask permission than to ask. It's better to ask for apology than to ask permission. She knew it was a great idea, a great plan, and sometimes we have to take that initiative to do it because it's going to benefit others. And then I apologize, I didn't get the approval, but see the results. So it made me think about
And that's the key. It's the results. Because believe it or not, you may not feel sometimes that people do recognize or see what you're doing or hear what you're saying, because there's a distinct difference between hearing and listening. And a lot of times I don't think people understand that. So you kind of have to put yourself out there and either ask the questions to get clarity And then that way, it enforces the fact, oh, okay, she or he did know what they were talking about, and they see the results. Because all of you in this room that are here as awardees, obviously you were doing something and somebody saw the results.
Right.
So you might not have recognized it from the beginning or thought anyone recognized it. You probably did ask questions through your journey that you were doing and didn't even realize the fact somebody was paying attention.
Absolutely. The other thing to be aware of and acknowledge is the fear that you got. Like we did this exercise, know what fears you have and acknowledge them. Here's the strangest thing. It's very ironic that people who have the courage to face their fears and people who don't have the same fears. It just takes you deciding to step up and actually doing something about it. I'm in the doctoral program, and wish me well, still working on the dissertation, it's just taking time. But one of my classes, I had a professor who, it was during the pandemic, and we did a presentation with my group. We worked on it a lot, and, we all consider, I was, like my 7th year or something in the principalship, and I considered myself a, good presenter and confident public speaker, blah, 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 all the above. We finished our presentation, and he decided that he was gonna berate us that last 5 minutes of class after everyone finished and talk about how terrible as presenters we were. How you consider yourself doctorate students. I'm not kidding you. I'm not saying everything he's saying. It wasn't recorded, I don't think. But while he was ranting, I heard him say he went through Toastmasters. And I'm a doer. I'm not a complainer. When he was ranting and talking, I took those words and let me Google, what is that? I've never heard of Toastmasters. And it turns out Toastmasters International is a nonprofit organization, and they help people build their public speaking skills. Absolutely. Guess who joined? I joined, and I participated in my first speech contest in the year after that, and I won my area contest. I was like, yeah, Dr. whatever his name was. That's for you. That's showing you I'm not a good public speaker. But that's the thing, you got to acknowledge the fear that you have and jump right on it. And instead of asking the question, what do you talk, or asking questions like, why me, or why were they talking to me like that, or whatever, ask myself one question, one only. What am I going to learn from this? That's right. Every experience you go through, there's plenty you'll learn from and pick up from. And there it is. What will I be learning from this? It helps with your growth mindset that Mary was talking about earlier. We all have goals, ladies and gentlemen. We all do. We set goals, right? And I'm going to tell you, if you have a big goal, break it down, make it into smaller steps. But guess what? People who are running a 100-meter marathon, all of them have the same goal, and it is they want to win. But they each have a different system to follow. That's right. Do you have a system to follow your goals? That's what I really want you to think about. In your booklet, and you don't have to look through it right now, I gave you a breakdown of how you can create a system to help yourself take these goals, break them down, and actually create a routine for yourself. Because no matter what goals you set for yourself, if you don't have a routine, if you don't have a working system, it's going to fall through. Focus on your strengths, as we said earlier. Focus on those strengths that you have in your index card. Look at them. When you go home, I want you to do this exercise over and over and over and over for all your other fears. Drown them with all the strengths that you have instead of thinking about what things that you fall short in. And build your competence. Confidence comes with competence. I can't stand here on stage talking about anxiety and ways to get rid of it if I am not competent enough to talk about it, if I have not taught myself enough, if I haven't gone through different learning stages. And learning isn't just reading and listening to somebody talk. What's learning? Does anybody know? Doing. Yeah, somebody said it. Doing. You got to do it. You got to practice it. You got to actually see how it works. I want to kind of pause right here and see if there are any questions in the audience.
Come on. Questions or comments or what have you.
So how would y'all give advice for navigating like anxiety that doesn't like have a specific reason. Like sometimes I go to the grocery store and then I just start freaking out and I don't know why I'm freaking out right now. Wouldn't be able to tell you. So how would you recommend like being able to push through just everyday general, I feel like I'm about to have a panic attack right here in the middle of the grocery store?
Dude.
Yeah, I can take that.
Okay.
So I a few years ago, I actually had really bad anxiety, and then I had the heart thing, and I actually went to my my family doctor, and she did an EKG, and she said, "Oh, you've got a what's it called? A something." AFib. Thank you. Somebody said it. AFib. So she sent me directly to a Thank you. That's my ESL kicking in right there. And the cardiologist did all the testing in the world, and there's nothing wrong with my heart. He still put me on medication. But after I left the principal job, my heart calmed down.
Wow.
And it wasn't the job itself and just the responsibilities. There were certain people that were kind of triggering that anxiety. I had no idea. That was happening. So there is something behind your anxiety. You may not have discovered it yet. You have to ask why. Then when you answer the question why, ask why again. And then ask why again until you find the answer. There is something that is actually behind it that you may not have discovered yet.
Correct.
And let me add too, when you first mentioned that, where is it coming from? You know, it's some kind of source is keeping you from having that panic attack. Deep breathing. I know that sounds like, but if you breathe in deep, you're allowing your lungs to clear out and clear your mind. And it's called mindfulness too, and meditation.
Yes.
I know that sounds like, how does that have anything to do with me? But it has a lot because our body is so sensitive. And so when you allow your mind and your body, that deep breathing is wonderful. I do it every day in the morning. You just got from your rest and you just take those deep breathings. You're allowing the lungs, you're allowing the air, and that will help calm your body. It really does, and your mind. And then think on things like this day is going, I call it affirmations, but whatever you want, some call it prayer. But allow yourself to get in a state of saying, I will have a wonderful day today. Today is going to be awesome. Come what may, I'm ready because I'm fully equipped. I'm strong. I'm powerful. I'm a smart, so you have to speak those things to yourself and say it out loud. And do the breathing, and I can promise you that will ease out some of that anxiety and remove that unknown fear. But like she said, you do need to see the source of that. Is it something that happened when you were a child, something that frightened you, being in a strange area, whatever it is. But you want to get to the core of it. But do those breathings and meditation and affirmation. That will be a great start to eliminate this unknown anxiety, okay?
And to piggyback what both of them said, and you made a good point, Mary. When you get up in the morning, look in the mirror, say I am somebody. I like myself. I love myself.
Yes.
Because that way you're affirming to yourself.
That's right.
And Mary has a good point. Whether it's meditation or whatever, you have to find something that calms you. And I mean, for me, it's running. So I could have a bad day, stressful day. I'll go out and run 10 miles. Put my headset on and just go knock it out. So whatever, yeah, I know, it sounds crazy. No, I wasn't in the military. I just do it for fun. But you find something that calms you. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I know that I'm going to have a crazy busy day, or I don't know what I'm going to be working with. I will literally get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go for a run to just settle my mind for the day to move on. And all of the folks that work with me, they're like, you get your run in today? Because today is going to be a hot mess. Yep. And they always know when I have run in the morning or run during the day, they can see, they'll check my demeanor and be like, yeah, she went for a run. She's good. She's okay. She's okay. So you just find that thing that works for you. There's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. I will say be consistent because I do see that when I don't do that and go for a run or get some type of exercise or something in to get it does wear on me a little bit. So just find your thing.
And don't be quick to take a pill.
No,
there's
don't.
other
Yeah,
things.
find that natural thing that works for you, and it doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong. Just find that thing that works for you.
Before we take the next question, I wanted to time check. How long do we have?
They have it back there. I'm watching them, so we should be good so far. So they'll keep us in check.
Before we take the next question, you have a name tag. I want you, if you haven't already written your name down, write it down. But I also want you to write something else. What is one thing people tell you about all the time that you're great at? Make it big, nice and big, right next to your name. I'm Nagam, I'm confident. I'm Nagam, I'm gorgeous. I'm Nagam, I am gracious. I'm Nagam, whatever it is. I'm not all these things. I'm just giving you examples. So I want you to write that thing down right next to your name, because your name is your name, but that other thing is
you.
also who you are. Yes.
So while they're doing that, go ahead. What's your question?
So I really like what you said about how confidence is a muscle that we're supposed to build. And I was wondering, do you suggest any resources on how to build that confidence? And I was also wondering, what are things you do on the daily basis that help you get in check throughout the day about your confidence? And then I think my last question is, I've heard of power poses. I don't know if you know that. And that are things that build your confidence. So what do you think about it, and how can it actually help us?
Wow. Do I remember all of them? Amazing questions. Stay up there, please. Let's start with the last one. Power poses, like this one.
Yes.
Whatever makes you feel confident. Not only the poses, whatever makes you feel confident as well. 100%. It's because it's all in the psychology.
That's right.
It's not a visible thing. It's up here. What was your second question? Forgive me.
What are things you do throughout the day to help your confidence stay at a certain level? Because I feel like we could go through an experience throughout your day. You were confident, but then, I don't know, somebody says something or an event happened, and then you're all down.
Go for a 5-mile run.
Yeah, I was saying self-talk is real.
My gym bag stays in my office all day, every day.
Self-talk is real. We do talk to ourselves. You know, it's just a plug-in in my book. It's called Power Talk Begins with Power Thoughts. And it's a self-talk to victory.
Yes.
How many want victory in their lives? So you have to learn how to allow yourself to be your best motivator. You don't get it from outside. Don't expect it from someone, your spouse or your friends or your teacher, to motivate you. It's got to come from within yourself. And when you start speaking those things to yourself, and speak them out loud, and then allow yourself to grow into that, knowing that you are a powerful woman that's doing great things. I'm adding value to my friends that I know and to the world. You have to know that like you know your name. If I call you Polly, you would not answer because that's not your name, right? But if you know your name and you know who you are, that's how you build. It's like exercising that muscle of strength. I didn't do it today, but guess what? Tomorrow's a brand new day, an opportunity to show how great I am. And that's not being arrogant. It's just having the self-awareness and self-confidence of who you are. You are unique, and no one else is like you. Even if you have offsprings, they're different, but you are unique and wonderful. You got to know that for yourself.
I love that. And then if you can't think of something to say to yourself, maybe find a good quote.
Exactly.
And put that in front of you and use it. The other thing too is something that I used to use is I'm a planner. I have a system in place. I plan my day, I plan my month, I plan my year. When I was 16, I graduated from college at 16, and I wanted to go to college and graduate at 21 with a teaching degree. My son was born at 21, so I didn't get to that. But what I taught myself, no one taught me. I taught myself that even though I have systems, I have to build within my systems. There's a chance for failure, and that I'm going to be okay with it. I'm just going to go with the flow. Because as human beings, we're all unpredictable. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows what tomorrow is bringing, and that's okay. And say it out loud. That's okay. When it happens, yes, you're going to feel anxious. When the failure happens, when the wrong happens, you're going to feel anxious. But be okay feeling that way. It's just it's your body reacting to it. It's not you not being prepared. It's not you being, unworthy.
Right.
It's just your body reacting to anxiety, trying to kick in that next idea. That's it. That's all. That's all was anxiety is.
Yeah.
When you know this beforehand, plan for something, you know, okay, this is going to go wrong, and that's okay. I'm going to tell the audience. Something is going to go wrong, and we're going to be okay with it.
That's right.
That's it.
Okay.
Thank
Before we
you.
go, do you
Go ahead.
have like podcasts or books you suggest that will help you build your confidence?
Renee Brown.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She's
There you go.
Yes, she talks about vulnerability.
Yes.
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 Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Christelle. I'm from HII, specifically Newport News Shipbuilding. And I don't have a question. I just have more of a comment. Sorry, one of my fears is public speaking. But throughout
Based
this,
on fact, no.
no. Right. But I'm calming down as I'm speaking. But throughout this, I started to realize that I was resonating a lot with a lot of your fears. So public speaking, obviously, fear of failure, fear of being rejected, or just going to a doctor, grocery store. And I started to say, well, why didn't I jot that down as my fear on my note card? So I started thinking a little bit more, and I realized that it's actually just fear of being perceived. So I just wanted to kind of share with you all that you're starting with that first fear, but you might have to dig that. Sorry, I'm not from here. So my accent is coming out a little bit, but you have to dig down a little bit more to figure out what that fear actually is so that you can hone in on it and work on it.
Correct.
Yeah.
So my fear was public speaking. I was really afraid to come up here. I almost walked back down to my seat, but I was like, you know what? Like, keep it going, because really you're just afraid of being perceived, of what people are going to think about you when they're seeing you up here and what you're saying. But you know what? Just do it. It is what it is, because it's not real. It is. Fear.
You did great. You did great.
And I admire you. I admire your courage. And sometimes we have to stop saying, I am afraid of this.
Correct.
'Cause you know what the brain is saying.
Take the
you
chance.
said that. A real true short story. I was in a line at TJ Maxx. You know, we like to shop at TJ. The lady in front of me, she forgot her wallet. You know, we switched purses. She hit her head. I'm so stupid. I left my wallet in my other car. I didn't even know this woman. I said, don't you ever tell yourself that, because your brain now is going to say, oh, she's stupid. She left her wallet. Now she's going to lose her keys. I said, you just made a mistake. It's not the end of the world.
Right.
In fact, let me pay for your stuff. You left your wallet. I said, oh, Lord, I hope I got enough money for my purse. But I said that to her, and I did pay for her stuff and my stuff. But I was making a point to her, and I sent her my card. I gave her my card. How can I pay you back? I said, by never saying that to yourself again. Because when you say that to yourself, your brain, I don't know if it's good or bad. I've got to make sure it happens. And it's out there now, and it's going to try to manifest. So sometimes we just need to stop sometimes saying, acknowledge it, sure. But if you I'm scared of this, I'm scared of going to this, you know, your mind is so just, okay, she says she's scared of that, she's this, she's that. So sometimes how we speak to ourselves will change the atmosphere. Trust me, I know that's to be true. Sorry, I didn't mean, I had to say
okay.
that. So you are not
I'm Shamika.
a fear of public speaking. You did great. You did great.
I'm Shamika with Lidos. I have a kind of a different kind of question. Like, is there such thing as healthy anxiety and fear versus it always being like a negative thing?
You know, I said earlier that some stress is good for us. You have to make sure that it's not overtaking your emotions, your mind. But some stress or some fear will allow you to move out of that comfort zone. What I was talking about earlier.
It's that learning process. It's the
And
learning
so, but you want to make sure you know the difference.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to know yourself. We have to know who we are too, ladies. We really do. Not who we think we are. But dig deep and know that you know yourself, you know, through and through, and have confidence.
And like I said earlier, the anxiety kicks in. It's because your body's reaction to something changing or, you know, unpredictable. And so that's why, you know, Mary hit it right on you have to know yourself. You have to know which kind of anxiety is that. And then the way you do this is by practicing. Most of the time we go into a panic attack or anxious, you know, we get anxious. We don't even think. We just, we immediately go to the bad spot, you know, in our brain, and we live there forever. That's what you need to do is go somewhere where you could speak out loud to yourself and talk. It's okay to say, What is wrong with me? I did that I had a presentation a few weeks ago, and I stood in front of the mirror and I said, I love doing this. I love training. I do district training for the school district that I work for, and I do other training, leadership training as well. So I love training.
Yeah.
I love it. This is my passion. I love helping people. I love service. When I said this, I smiled without meaning
who
to.
you are and
Yes,
what you like,
and that
right.
I didn't even think about like the anxiety or whatever, but immediately the anxiety was gone because I said this out loud. So say those
Say it
things
out
out
loud.
loud as much
Right.
as possible. Talk to yourself in a positive way.
Right. No, go ahead. It's okay. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard that before too.
Yes.
I've heard that.
Nothing.
Before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Calm you down. Calm yourself down.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Calms you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
That's
beautifully
good.
said.
That's
Thank you
good.
so
That's
much.
true too.
Yeah.
It's
Now-
all right. I heard that before, but I had something for you as well. Like when you say going throughout the day, your confidence is up, and then someone does something to make it go down. For me personally, I don't take it personal because
Yeah.
it may be something
Right.
they're
Yes.
going through that they're projecting on you. So if
Mhm.
it does get projected on you, and you know you haven't done anything to this person, be like, I'm just gonna pray for them to have a better day, and that will
Yeah.
probably keep your confidence
Yes.
going for the rest.
Good point.
Because everybody's experience is going to be different.
Different.
Right.
So their perception is based
You're
on
welcome.
their
Thank you.
experience, not your experience. So she's 100% correct. Don't let that stop you.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Aria Moody from Harper Woods School District. You guys have my brain going crazy right now. One of the things that I read about, and this wasn't my question, but you brought it up, it's your fault. One of the things that I read about is that the brain doesn't know the difference in when you're afraid and when you're excited.
Yeah.
So instead of telling yourself how terrified you are, if you start to talk to yourself about, you know what, I am so excited, this is a great opportunity, I'm going to
Yes.
do well,
Yeah.
I can't wait, this is going to be fun. You're probably lying in your emotions at that moment, but tell yourself the lie anyway because your brain doesn't know the difference. That chemical reaction
Yes.
is still going to take place.
That's
and
right.
as it does, you will find the strength to actually be able to do it afraid, which is the most.
Yes.
It's the thing that I'm doing it right now. It's the thing that you have to do in order to get to where you want to go, regardless to what it is that you're doing. You have to learn how to do it afraid.
Yes.
And talking to yourself in that manner, when you start to feel the the Twitter and the ooh and the oh Lord and the oh God and help me somebody get me out of here, literally. As soon as you start to feel it, be like, you know what, but I don't need to leave because this is going to be great. I don't have to go because this is going to be exciting. Ooh, I can't wait to see what's going to happen. And you'll find out that you really can't wait to see what's going to happen, and you really are going to have a great time.
Correct.
The other thing that you brought up, all your fault again, when you are in those situations where all of a sudden you find yourself afraid, literally start to tell yourself, okay, well, nobody's standing here but me. Okay, there's nothing happening. Nobody's threatening me. What am I afraid of? And when you start to do that, it not only causes you to have to breathe, because sometimes you can't even think to breathe. Trust me, I've done it. It causes you to slow down enough where then your body will kick in and calm you down. So all that being said, now I'm going to ask you my question.
Okay.
I am that person who the thing that will give me the greatest anxiety is unexpected change. I have everything mapped out. I'm about to do this. I'm excited. It's going. And then you say, sorry, we got to do this. And I'm like, what? Wait. I wasn't ready for that. I didn't have a contingency plan for that. You can't have a contingency plan for everything that's going to happen. So what are some suggestions for when you don't have a contingency plan and you know that's going to give you major anxiety?
Well, well, I've been through enough of these to tell you.
Yeah, as an educator, I know you know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know where you were during COVID. You know, when we had to shut down that day when I had teachers crying, and I just basically I had no idea what we were going to do. What's going to happen? We were given laptops and set to hand out to the teachers, but I put them all in a room. And we talked. I know we had to be like the distance or whatever, but it was like exactly when we found out it's COVID and we had to shut down. So I said, I have no idea what the plan is. I know you're expecting your school principal to know everything and to have the answers, but I don't. And what we're going to do is we're going to take it slow. We're going to take it one step at a time. When and as soon as I have an answer for anything, I will share it with you. And I was transparent and I made good on my promises.
That's the key.
That's really important that you're consistent with what you say. One of the hugest issue as a school principal that I faced is that when things come down from the state, they go through the district hands it out to the principals. And as a teacher myself, I never understood why we were never told why we're doing something, right? And that I'm doing this plan, I have this entire unit mapped out, and then somebody comes in and tells me to change it, and I never understood why. As a principal, this is what I practiced. I go to my meetings or my emails or whatever, and I tell my people, I was handed this down, I was told this, I did some research, and I did some digging, and I do, and this is the reason why we're changing. Because people feel better when they have a better understanding of why change happens. I went through it myself, so I don't want my people to go through it. So things are going to change on the spot. Just be transparent. I'm not ready. Your employer tells you you need to do something that you're not ready for. Say, I'm not ready. How long do I have until I can get ready or can put something together? Or would you be okay with plan B or, something other lesser complexity than this? And you have to be okay with it first before anyone else. I know, but you have to practice that. And you will be okay when you practice. I know you think that you're this, like, it has to go your way, your change isn't, but I used to be that. And I'm okay now.
Okay.
And just to piggyback off that, be flexible.
Yes.
Sometimes we could be so,
Yes.
stern and so adamant that we're not flexible, and so we take it personal too. So if things don't work out the way we planned, it's not the end of the world. Guess what? It's going to be another opportunity to, so you have to be flexible too.
Yeah, I think the flexibility brings up my fear of failure. But anyway.
No. Listen,
No.
We have 5 minutes. They just told us.
And we just want to make sure that we
Yeah.
get everybody's questions
Yeah.
in here too. So, but we will be here to talk to you afterwards if you would like to do that. Absolutely.
I just wanted to kind of go back to what you said and say that we have all these fears of this and that. We went through COVID. We're here.
We're here.
Right.
I went
We
through
survived.
different wars.
We
I'm
survived.
here.
Yeah.
I went through surgery. I'm here. Remind yourself of these things.
You're still here.
You went through bigger things.
Yeah.
You're here. You went through it, right? What's another,
Disappointment.
another disappointment, or another meeting that you have to attend, or another presentation that you have to go through.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yes.
No problem.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So first name is Sandra, last name is Yukalima. Kind of gets confusing sometimes. I'm with Lidos actually, so with jacket can tell it all. My question is, I'm confident as a Spanish speaker, but I was born and raised in the States. And people always think that I'm like, overseas, what age I came in. And when I try to get that confidence when I'm speaking Spanish to English, it seems defensive. So is there any tips or anything that I can improve or that you guys can recommend?
When you can you tell me that last thing you said when you speak
So
when you change from
Yeah, so when I'm speaking Spanish, everyone tells me like, oh, you're confident, you're fun to talk to. But then when I go English speaking, it seems defensive. So I try to be more humble, I guess, about it.
Spanish is your native language.
At household, but I went to
In the house. Okay, that's
So
what I was getting ready
question
to
for
ask.
you.
So that and I've seen that many times. It's just a practice thing and something that you have to instill that confidence in yourself. It's practice.
And I wanted to ask you a question.
Yes.
Do you speak Spanish more or English more in your daily life?
Both.
Well, like she said, it's in
It's
the
a both.
household. See,
It's
that's
in the
what it is. In
household?
the household,
Well,
you have one,
yeah,
and in your
so-
work environment, you're using the English and whatnot.
Well,
more
ironically,
so,
I usually
or
speak
what?
Spanish too.
Okay.
When people find out I speak Spanish, they want to go Spanish. But when
So you basically speak Spanish more. That's what I'm hearing you say.
yeah, well, that's now that because I moved cities too. I moved
Yeah.
for years to Virginia.
Yeah.
I was from Chicago.
Okay.
Born and raised, which
Yeah.
throws everybody off every time they like you have no accent. And Spanish is amazing, but I'm just trying to figure out how to get that confidence in English when I'm talking to like.
I'll tell you from a bilingual perspective. I had to learn. I learned the English language here. I didn't know anything, and I was super shy. I didn't want to talk. I didn't raise my hand in class or anything because I was afraid I'm gonna mess up. So I read a lot, watched a lot of movies, read the subtitles. You know, I did it all, and I made sure I was saying the right thing before I opened my mouth. But at the end of the day, it's all practice. It's all practice. I speak Arabic at home. My babies, who are now grown up, they speak Arabic because we taught them Arabic. You know, we want to keep our language, native language. So I speak home Arabic, and I mess up sometimes. I forget the Arabic words now. Can you believe it? I use English. But it's really practice. The more you use it, the more you get better at it. It's like with anything else. So
And
put yourself in
practice.
situations more. Sorry, Mary.
No, go ahead,
Put more yourself in more situations where you have to speak English.
And practice
Yes.
makes better. Not trying to be perfect.
Progress.
No,
We-
it's just
yeah,
better. It's
Progress.
It makes better
It's
because
progress.
the more you do it, the more
Right.
comfortable you will feel, more confident you will feel. And you can't please everybody. It's make sure you're pleasing yourself. You do it the best that you could. You know what I'm saying? Because you're trying to please this one and that one, you be cuckoo, okay? So make sure you're pleasing yourself too.
The other thing, real quickly, I learned that I'm the only person that notices my accent. No one else does.
I know, I don't notice.
Yeah. I don't hear an accent in your voice, just so you know.
Yeah.
No,
It's
thank
not-
you. I appreciate it. It's just been. That's why I was just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because that's
It's
usually.
up here.
Yeah, yeah.
Get it
And,
out.
and you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine.
Thank
Yes.
you.
You are going to be fine. And we're gonna take this one last question because
quick
we got
question.
1 minute. But
Okay. I don't have a question. I just had a comment for the young lady up here in the pink. 'Cause
Sure.
You mentioned being like not as confident as you want to be. I used to be incredibly self-conscious, and I actually have confident on my name tag. So I feel like the best thing that helped me was honestly just to fake it. Because until I mentioned that I hate public speaking, that I'm terrified of public speaking, you wouldn't have known because I present myself as being confident. I'm faking it all the way through. So you got this.
well, you
because
know what they
nobody
say:
knows
fake
that
it
you're
till
not
you make it.
confident.
That's I mean that's what they say.
I just want to.
thank
I wanted to tell you guys a couple things. My last item on this list is celebrate wins. That's how you gotta. No matter how small, you gotta celebrate wins.
do.
The other day, I had an ultrasound. I was at the doctor, and multiple times I was told to hold my breath because they were doing the ultrasound, and I hold my breath, and I couldn't wait until she told me to breathe. And what's the first thing what I did when she told me to breathe? Did I actually breathe? What do you think I did? I had to let the bad air out first in order to get the good air in.
Good.
And I was thinking about that while I was doing this.
Yeah.
So let the bad air out before you can let anything else good in. Talk to yourself. That's all I wanted to say.
And you
Thank
guys
you,
are going to do
ladies.
great. Thank you so much.
Yes.
for
Give yourself a round of
participating.
applause.
Give yourself
Yes,
right.
yes.
Because you guys were interactive. You did great. Your questions were great. And all of us will be around to answer other questions or meet with you guys. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest
And
of
the
the conference.
timer, please leave them in the seats. We will collect those.
Yes,
And
you can-
please leave those.
Thank
Right.
you. The timers and the little dice. We didn't get to play that game, but you have the little thing. And you have my email address on there if you need to.
Contributions they plan.
Dr. David Rock.